Hey, secondhand soul fans. Hey, secondhand soul fans. It's me, your friendly neighborhood soul man, Lyle Dynamite Miller. And I'm here with
Kathy Fern.
And the sax man, Dave Drower. How's it going, everyone?
how we doing out there. And look at this. Lo and behold, we're on our 5th episode of the Secondhand Soul Band Show. How's it feel, everybody?
Woo!
All right. Woohoo!
Time's going by fast.
I'm going by fast.
I'll drink to that.
All right. Yeah, how about a little toast, huh?
Working hard
Everybody
here.
staying safe?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
All right.
No
I hope
trouble.
y'all got your drinks out there.
Yeah, so it's another Wednesday, another great Secondhand Soul Band show. Thanks everybody for coming back. We got a full show ahead today. Today we're going to be talking about we have some venue news coming up here. Then we're going to do our famous overrated, underrated segment. Dave and I are going to tackle a great jazz balladeer today. Is who we're going to tackle. Then we're going to do a little behind the lens. I have some news coming up. Somebody's going to be on TV Sunday.
Yay!
Whoa, I wonder what's going on there.
It's not me. It's not me.
Then I'll
Dave,
do my,
we gotta get you something.
yeah, Dave, we're gonna cop. Maybe we'll just shoot something, man, and put it on.
Yeah, you should know an agent or two, right?
Yeah, I know some people. Look,
Right.
I'll send this to some people, man. We're gonna get you out there. You're right there. You're right there, brother.
So
Seriously.
close.
And
6
and
degrees,
then,
right?
that's it. You got to know the right people.
Hey, that's everything in life.
That's
right.
right.
Then we also, I'm going to do my art goals segment, always ready to get on stage. And that's me, always ready to get on stage, art goals. So if you want to be ready to get on stage, make sure you tune in for that. And we're also going to have, of course, our famous Q&A. Not very famous right now, but it's up to you guys to make it famous. So listen, hit those comments, hit the comment section, put your comments in there, your questions. Make sure you hit the tip jar as well. If you see that over there on Facebook and also on YouTube. And if you're on YouTube, subscribe to that page and hit the bell so you don't miss a thing. We're going to be re-airing these clips, so make sure you keep up. And if everybody's ready to get started, why don't we get started with some venue news?
Yeah, so, the guys and I have been having some really heart-to-heart conversations about whether we want to play out in bars right now. I've talked to a lot of different musicians, and everybody's having kind of the same conversation. So there's a lot of opinions and random information floating around, and it makes it really hard to make a good decision. But after a long talk, we decided that we're not actually comfortable performing live in some of the smaller restaurant venues because there really is no way to safely socially distance ourselves. We so miss seeing everyone and we want to play so badly, but we also need to be safe and keep our family safe. So we hope you all understand that for now, we'll only be performing for gigs in larger park-like settings like Tuesday, August 11th in the Northbrook Park District, Thursday, August 13th for the St. Charles Park District. That will be a drive-in concert. And then Tuesday, August 25th for the Franklin Park District. We want to give a shout out to Scott Bass, who has been literally working his ass off to redo all the work that he did for the last 6 months to try and get these summers set up. And it's been a challenge for him, for us, for everybody. So everybody's working as hard as they possibly can to make this happen. So, we appreciate everybody's patience while we figure this out. But Dave and I were able to get out for a little while last weekend, and we visited the Cara in Glenview for their very last night. They are now called John's Garage. And apparently they've remodeled the entire interior, and it's going to be a classy sports bar.
Yeah.
And Ted said live music may also be a component in the future. So we wish Ted and Lydia all the best. And Dave, we had a nice time out there, right? It was fun listening to do you remember what they were called? I'm so sorry.
Acoustic Generation, I believe it was.
That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were really fun to listen to. The singers were amazing, and it was a really enjoyable show. So it was nice to just be out.
Yeah, it was
under
perfect
a full
weather.
moon.
Perfect weather
With all the Russian girls.
Yep. Put your money to the sky, to the moon, and you get good luck. I didn't know that before that night.
I didn't know that either. So hi, Polina. Hope you're watching. It was so nice to see everybody.
Yeah, they should be on YouTube right now. We stole their phones and then subscribed to our channel. So
exactly.
you got to do it any way you can, right? It's who you know. So we got to expand. So make sure that you share this with all of your friends, and we're going to be having some promo things coming out too, just for all of our fans.
So, if you guys are getting out and you are going out to see the bands, if that's your choice, make sure you understand that the bands that are playing, it's a hard decision to be out, and we want to make sure that you realize, they're risking something by being there. And so make sure you appreciate the fact that there is live music in that place. Make sure you take good care of your servers and your bartenders, and make sure you tip the band. I mean, right now there's some venues who aren't paying what they normally would pay, and it was not all that great to begin with. So we all have to give each other some space and some respect for the decisions that we make. And please wear your masks, because then all this stuff will just go away way sooner, and we can get back to whatever normal looks like going forward. So.
And it's not all bad news, because we definitely do have plans in the works for giving you guys the opportunity to be listening to us. And it might not be at the Corral or John's Garage or Richie's anytime in the near future, but keep your eye out, because we do have plans. We're not just sitting at home sleeping and eating Cheetos.
That's right.
So make sure that you're supporting not only us, but all the bands and musicians that you love to hear, because this is a difficult time. So when you do see somebody that's putting on a virtual show, and maybe they do have a, wait for it, virtual tip jar, any little bit does help. I know that just doing all the video equipment for this show and being able to put our band on live, it was not inexpensive. But again, we're doing it for the fans, because we love music and we love sharing with you. So keep an eye out. I'm not going to talk about this all day.
Yeah. But no, that's real. I mean, a lot of these bands that you guys see out there, they're tight and they sound great. And you're like, man, how did you guys get so tight? It's because they're playing all the time. And a lot of them sacrificed a full-time job to be able to do this and to be able to put on the best show they can for you. And at this time, they're not able to work. And it's really hard to pull out unemployment if you're a musician. So if you see those bands out there, that's your opportunity to help out. Whatever, everybody's going through a tough time, but whatever you got, just kick something in, and every little bit helps. And the more of us do it, the better off we'll be. And the same thing with those restaurants too. You guys have your favorite restaurants out there. I'm sure a lot of them have pickup service and delivery service, so make sure you patronize them. You know who they are. Still got that great food.
That's right. Yeah, so just be sure to watch our website and like our Facebook page and subscribe to YouTube, so you guys will see when we unveil our plans. We're very excited. We've been really thinking very hard about what we can do to stay engaged and be able to provide you guys with some amazing content. So we want you to participate. Make sure you get on there.
All right. I think it's time.
Over underrated. All right, this is over underrated, our favorite segment. Dave and I in the car on the way to a show, and we're debating about an artist. And this is the segment where we take an artist, any artist, and decide whether they're underrated, overrated, or if they're getting just the right amount of accolades. In fact, if you guys have a suggestion for over underrated, put it right there in the comments, and we may be able to cover one of your artists. Who do we have this week, Dave?
This week we have one of my favorite artists, Frank Sinatra.
Alas.
Yes.
The Messiah.
Yes, he's definitely an interesting cat.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let you start on this one, and I actually didn't pick him. I don't know if you picked him either. It just sort of.
Yeah, he just kind of came up. I think it was something interesting. I was reading an article or something on him, and it was an interesting article about how he was standing up for black artists back in his day, that he wouldn't play segregated stages, etc. But I did come across another story about him getting caught up in 1938. So there's the famous mugshot of Sinatra, and people think that he was in a riot or a fight or something. The guy, I gotta show you this. I gotta go to the article.
Oh, it's up.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
Well, I got the picture up right now.
Yeah. So did I lose it? Okay. So yeah, this is from historydaily.org, and it's talking about this arrest that happened in 38 that you see up on the screen there. It says Sinatra was arrested November 26, 1938 in Hackensack, New Jersey. The charge of seduction, quote, seduction. They had to put it in quotes because what are we talking about? He was released on a $1,500 bond, and the charges were dropped once it was discovered that the woman in question was married. Apparently, seduction is if you propose to a woman or you convince her you're in love with her, and then you have sex. If you have sex with her, then that's seduction. You've broken the law in 1938, apparently.
So you can't
let the guy go.
You can't be in love with them if you're gonna have sex with them. Is basically what they're saying.
Well, no, they're saying that it's a shotgun wedding. After assume that she's. This is so misogynistic. Basically, if after the coitus you're married, you got to get married to her, especially if you told her those were your intentions. And the charge is originally was because she claims that he intended to marry her, and that's why she gave her what did they say? She a decent woman gave herself to him, assuming that she was going to be married to him. But the charges were dropped because she was already married to somebody else. And now here is the real story. So behind the gossip, it says, as the story goes, an old girlfriend. This is the woman in question. As the story goes, an old girlfriend accused Sinatra of breaking his promise to marry. This is the plaintiff of breaking his promise to marry her, in which in turn tainted her good reputation. That's what it was. Then the former girlfriend actually ended up in a fight with Nancy Barbado, Frank Sinatra's fiance and eventually his first wife. The circumstances surrounding the cat fight finally led to the accusations of seduction and adultery in Sinatra's arrest. So basically, this guy gets caught up in a nightclub. The women start fighting, and he goes to jail. And then that's the mugshot. There's no robbery. I guess there was a fight, sort of.
Put that shot back up, Dave.
Oh, I got it right here. Technology these days, it's awesome.
Just look at his
face. Look how
face.
Cute he is. How old is he there? Oh my god.
20s. No, he was like what, 26? He was young.
This is young. This is way young.
What a cutie pie.
All right. Now
38.
I think our audience is a little confused, Lyle, because this is called Over Under. It's not called Why They Got Arrested.
Right. Okay, so I'll start. I'm split on it, but I'll start with the pros, I guess. Well,
okay.
The first pro is obviously the voice. It's the voice.
Obviously.
And it's the voice, like, we're talking 60 years that was the voice. Like, from the first time I saw Frank Sinatra on any video until in the 90s when he was, he was old. But he still sounded the same. They didn't really change any of the keys or anything. And so the voice is the pro. And that's definitely not underrated.
Well, yeah,
right?
and everything's in a really good spot for his voice, Let's just talk about his backup band, because anybody that's playing with Count Basie's band, there's something to that, right, and I think he's not overrated though, just because he is a really, really, really big artist. Like, anybody that doesn't even know anything about jazz has heard of Frank Sinatra. You know, the guys that are in Chicago, I forget the one guy's name. He's been on the news a few times singing outside of like retirement homes. He sings for the Cubs. What does he sound like? He sounds like Frank Sinatra because it's that old school,
that
like
influence, that that big band, classy, you know.
Yeah.
Crooner. He's a crooner. He's just a straight up crooner.
The one thing that I think that he really started to bring in was interaction with audience. He wasn't necessarily dancing at all, but he would talk to them and make fun of them. And like Live at the Sands is one of my favorite albums where he's sort of mocking the saxophone player because they're like ad-libbing in between his lyrics and there you go again. Or, you know, how'd I get in this room? You know,
it's the personality.
Right. It served him well because, you know, again, another guy goes out to Vegas and but it's also cool. He's like a mobster. He was involved in so much crazy stuff.
And an actor.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, he was like, it was like a vaudeville cabaret act seeing him perform. You know, you see guys sometimes, these comics go up there and maybe they'll throw a song out and it's kind of a joke. And, he has a nice voice. And Sinatra would give you all that in one show. Yeah. And the jokes would be good jokes.
Right. He was definitely an entertainer like that classic, like, you know, Smokey Bar, but he's too big for that.
Right, yeah.
But he's gotten so much accolades that I couldn't say that he's underrated.
Well, what are his accolades though? It's not necessarily for his performance. It's kind of the legend of Frank Sinatra. Like he created a whole genre basically.
Sure.
Yeah. So he's like the king of that genre, but people don't necessarily say what you're saying about him, you know, playing jazz music and the different aspects of his whole performance is, you know, acting and telling jokes and singing and engaging with the audience. I mean, he was like a complete showman all the way around. So
absolutely,
I'm not sure if people really like kind of get that.
Yeah.
Well, and you have to be just like we are. Like when we go out on stage, people don't get excited just because we play some random tune and we don't move. You know, anytime I see a band where everyone's just sitting there, I'm always, you know, loudly saying stuff about it. Because
in the front row.
how can you not, you know, be into it? It's just like if it looks like it's a job for you, that's a problem. And for Frank Sinatra, it almost was like a nuisance in some aspects. You know, it's like these guys want to hear me again. I guess I'll come out, but yeah, that's the old school. You know, and
totally cool, just cool and just in control. You know.
Yup.
Yeah.
Just a real rock star, honestly. I mean, back in the day, that you know, the fact that he was in trouble for being with two different women.
Right.
and his morality was being questioned. I mean, that kind of goes to
like
David Lee Roth and, you know.
He caught that crime on the way out.
Well, and we could have a whole new segment. Maybe this will be our next one of the crazy stuff, you know. I don't know if you know Lee Morgan. He was a trumpet player way back in the day. But, like, his girlfriend shot him dead on stage, walked into this place. And because... let's be honest, not all musicians are the nicest guys in the world.
Sure.
So they've done tons of stuff, and there's been and there's tabloids now. Come on. People don't change. It's all the same nonsense.
It's all the same, yep.
Right.
Just
all right.
Technology. In show business.
Yeah.
Speaking of show business, right? Don't we have... I think our next segment's ready to go.
All right, so let's go behind the lens a little bit. Now, this is a segment where we talk about things we're doing off stage outside of our live band show. But so this Sunday, there is a program called The Shine on Showtime. It's actually a really fantastic show on Showtime. It comes on Sundays, 9 p.m. in Chicago. Check your local listings. But the reason I'm mentioning this show is because this Sunday, I'll be on the show. Yay! Yeah. I'll be on this episode.
I know you.
Of The Shy this Sunday. And also, probably even more importantly, this is Lena Waithe, the show's creator, is going to be premiering on the show this Sunday, on the show as an actor. And I wouldn't say she's an actor. I'd say she is a force of art. If you don't know Lena Waithe, look up Lena Waithe. She is a force of art and very young. There's so much about her because she's youthful and she has this vision that is so matter of fact and honest that it seems like she's been here forever. So catch her on The Chi and catch me. I'll be 5-6 seconds on there. So
is it at the beginning, the end? Do we know?
Just watch the whole show. It's a great show. It really is a really great, entertaining show. A lot of Chicago actors on there, so support those Chicago actors.
Yeah.
It really is a great show. Watch the whole thing. I'll be on there. Don't blink. I'm on
right. That's the Don't Blink. What was it? Was it South Side? I remember I was just like trying to find it, and then I was like, I had to go back, and it's like,
I was like standing behind the guy too, on
Lyle, I hope you're updating your IMDb. You got to keep that upwell,
he has a few names on there.
Yeah.
Has to stay away from those crazy ladies coming after him like Frank.
Well, it's crazy now. Hollywood is kind of LA. It's slow right now. Like we haven't figured out how to shoot film right now. I mean, what do? You got to do a scene and somebody's. They can't be 6 feet away from you on a scene, so it hasn't been figured out. This is all new. But
when did you shoot this? How long ago?
Yeah, that was done last summer. I want to say it was like the day after a hit or something.
Okay.
We had a show, and then I did that. This was like about a year ago.
Wow, it's pretty amazing. Like the whole process is fascinating for me. The production of it, like how long it takes, and the stories you've told about being on set and how long you're waiting around, and then you got to go in for a costume thing and a reading, and the whole process is pretty fascinating to me.
Yeah. Thank God for theater. The years of theater prepared me because half the acting you do when the camera started rolling, and the other half is acting like you're everything is normal. You know exactly what's going on. Like, we're on set 34. 5 minutes. You're like, all right, and you look around, and it's like a football field of sets. So.
One of the coolest things I had the experience of doing was being an extra on Empire. It was probably 3 years ago now, and we were a crowd in an audience at a concert, and it was an outdoor concert, and they did it in the forest reserves of Cook County, and so there was probably 30 people that were the crowd, and they had us stand in the air in the field, a big giant field at the forest reserve, and we all just spread out. And they took some pictures, and then they said, okay, now everybody move. And you just had to run and find another spot. And we did that like 20 times.
Oh, yeah, right.
And then they literally just layered all the pictures over each other, and we were the crowd. That's amazing. They only showed it for 7 seconds on the actual show, but it was so cool just to see the process of it. I really enjoyed it. The other thing I realized was that when the actors are speaking, we're in the crowd and we're supposed to be cheering on the people on the stage. So we're like, yeah, but we had to be silent. So you're pretending to scream, but you didn't want to speak over the actors so that the sound people could pick up the actors saying their lines. Right. So you had to be
yeah. You got to mime this stuff out.
It was so funny. And now when I watch other shows and I see that kind of a scene, I know exactly what they're doing. It's so funny because now you watch and you're they're totally miming it. Nobody's actually talking.
Right. No, that's a behind the lens curse right there. The more you work, the more you analyze everything you see on television.
Right. And then you kind of can't suspend your disbelief.
Catch the guy's sleeve. It was rolled up right before this take.
Right.
Yeah. That's crazy. So everybody, make sure you catch The Chi this Sunday at 9 p.m. on Showtime. If you don't have Showtime, get it now.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Next up, we got Argos. Right?
I can't wait for this one.
Oh, Art Goes. All right. So this is the Art Goes segment. Now, Art Goes means always ready to get on stage. Baby.
Always.
That's me. If you know me, if you've ever seen Secondhand Soul Man Lab, you know I'm Art Goes. Always ready to get on stage. Yeah. So in these segments, I try to teach others to be Art Goes so that you're always ready to get on stage. And I'll share lessons about my experiences in show business that will hopefully help you. Okay. So this week, I want to talk about the story of Apollo Creed. Some of you may have heard of this gentleman, Apollo Creed. He was a fighter about 35 years ago. He had a fight against a large Russian gentleman named Ivan Drago. So what happens is, before the fight, Apollo comes down the aisle and it's James Brown. James Brown is up there. And there's
James
50
Brown.
people singing Living in America. The guy has a sequin American flag uniform on. And he's marching down there, and the crowd is going nuts, and he's cheering. He's like making faces, and Drago is standing there, and he's just like, I can't believe what I'm seeing. Well, who's coming out here? Is that the president? That's the fighter? He comes into the ring. Ivan Drago literally kills this man, kills him, beats him until he dies, and Rocky can't even throw the towel in to stop the fight. It's the saddest thing you ever saw. And the most sad was because James Brown had just kicked ass up there singing Living in America, and everybody's having a great time. But when he got to the ring, he got killed. So the lesson, what is the lesson? Can anyone guess the lesson? It's not the obvious lesson, don't brag. It's okay.
Or don't fight.
Right. It's okay to brag, and it's okay to have James Brown behind you and to have the sequin draws on and you're running up to the stage and everything's exciting. That's okay. What is not okay is to get killed. So the moral of the story is, when you get to that stage, whoop Ivan's boo-boo. That's it.
I love it. I love it. That was amazing.
And yes, I think it's clear. Okay. Hey, if you got any questions about that, you can just put it in the comments section, and we'll answer any questions that you might have. I think we got time for another segment here, do we?
Yes, we do. And this one is called Dave's Words of Wisdom, aka Dave goes off.
Dave goes off.
All right. So
as
Lyle was saying, if you've ever seen the Secondhand Soul Band live, you know that he's always ready to perform, and you know that I'm crazy about sound and making sure that everything's sort of working. And
Dave, you do an amazing job, ridiculously amazing job.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's playing the saxophone and handling the sound better than the sound guys that did. Sorry, guys. Dave's better than you.
He's spoiled us, that's for sure. We cannot tolerate anyone else.
I mean, most of the time it's like you see a sound guy come in, it's like, oh, we got sound tonight. And we're like, damn, Dave ain't doing sound?
Yeah.
We've learned our lesson, right, Lyle?
Yeah, seriously. Dave has gotten us together.
Yeah.
Sorry, we interrupted you.
No, that was perfect. So I want to talk today about sound check, because sound check for a sound man is extremely important, and musicians need to know how to actually do a sound check. So one of the things that I've had problems with is people playing differently during sound check than the real show. So let me explain. I'm going to put on my sound guy glasses. I'm not even in the band right now. So what sound check is trying to do is the sound man has to get levels on every single instrument, and what levels is saying is we gotta know. If you are killing that drum set, I got to know what that's going to be. So that way I'm setting the levels correctly. If you are tapping it lightly during sound check, and then the first song you start whopping it, all of a sudden the sound check was worthless, absolutely worthless. And then I have to stop playing the sax. I have to go over the soundboard. I have to start fixing all this other stuff. So also the sound check is for the musician. You guys have monitors, right? And what you hear is important. If you can't hear what you need to hear, how are you going to be a killer musician? You're not.
Right.
And if you can't hear what you want to hear, then you're going to bug me the entire gig. Like Kathy and Lyle, I have their phone set up. They could change it. I don't have to worry about it. But if you've got subs, or some guys are just, I'll just tell you, Dave, there's no problem.
Or worse, they say nothing and complain about it 3 days later. I'm like, I want to strangle someone when they do that. Like, why did you not speak up during the gig or at the sound check? That's the place you're supposed to do it.
Right. That is exactly the thing. So sound check You want to hear what you need to hear, and I have to hear everything the way you're actually going to do it, okay? So
Soundcheck is come to Jesus.
Right, exactly. So because what happens is, guys, all right, let's pretend like the musician doesn't have a day job. So he shows up, he got up maybe 30, 45 minutes ago. He's sort of groggy, tickling the little strings because he's just not feeling it yet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, like Sir Du comes in, or and then
the music takes over, right?
Right, and then they're into it. All of a sudden, we have a problem.
Oh.
So right from that start, you don't have to be into it, but you got to give me what you're going to give me so that I can make it sound fantastic. And then
leave it alone.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't touch the knob.
Yes, absolutely. So if you hear what you need to hear, and I have a good idea of what you're going to do, and yes, things change, and minute changes is what a sound man has to do all the time, and I have no problem doing that. But if we're talking massive, I really shouldn't have to change the gain on anybody at all during the show. I should just be changing levels and bringing up solos or things like that. Just like right now, this show, I'm not touching any volumes. I'm just changing scenes and putting on some
we
graphics.
get online 2 hours before we start this show, so you can set everything up, and then when we hit the live show, we are good. And there's not a lot of adjustment that needs to be made. It's the same exact thing with a live show for the band.
Pretty much
set it and forget it, and you got to adjust a little bit and we're good. Like it should not be the guys. And when you see like these videos of people, they're in a movie or whatever and they're constantly adjusting and whatever, like no. Okay, unless you're Beyonce, like that's not what's supposed to happen. You set it up and then you do a little bit of tweaking here and there and you leave it alone, and it's great. And Dave, again, you have been an amazing sound person. Like you have taken us to the next level. I didn't even have to like tell you what I wanted. You just intuitively knew. When you started setting that sound up, I'm like, this is my guy. He's got it. I don't have to say a word. Don't have to worry about this. Because I used to do the sound before you came along, and oh my God, what a nightmare. I never ever want to have to do that again. That was such stressful tension. And then like you're in the middle of a show and there's like all this feedback. You're like, I don't even know what to do. Oh my God. I can't even take it.
Right.
Hello.
And nobody notices the good ones. That's the point. You shouldn't be noticed.
That's the
you
point,
should be
right?
in the back.
That's you're really good. Exactly.
Right.
You know what you're doing.
And you got to listen to those old albums and have right. It's all about what is in your head. But we have to give a shout out to Personas too, because I love using their Studio Live system, and
that board is amazing.
Yeah, so we've been using that for like 2 years, and ever since we went digital, our sound went light years ahead. Like, compression inside your monitor, and everyone has their own feed. So, all right. So all I have to say is sound check is extremely important. You got to be there at the be there at the right time, set up, and ready to actually play correctly.
Yep.
Crank it, and that's
Give it to me.
Right, give it to me, baby.
That's it.
Oh, man.
All right. Well, we're coming close to the end here. We get any questions in, Dave?
Not yet. That's
so,
okay.
if you want to get in touch with us, you can always go to our website, secondhandsoulband.com, or email us, and you can find a link to our YouTube page, again, where we're live here. Make sure you subscribe to the...
It's on the website, actually, on the front page of the website. There's the headquarters for the YouTube video and the Facebook video.
Excellent. And so remember, we got our next live show next Wednesday. We go live every Wednesday, 8 p.m. We want to see you guys. We want to hear from you. We miss everybody. Bring your drinks. Bring your dollar bills for the tip jar. Bring your questions. We want to know what you want to know. You got some subjects you want us to talk about, or some artists you want us to review. We want to hear from you. So it's really cool to reconnect with everybody after not seeing everybody for so long. So please join us every Wednesday.
Yep.
And tell your
All right,
friends,
everybody.
because we're going to be back every week. And I know that a lot of people might not be able to watch right away because we just sort of see the views keep going up and up and up as the week goes on. So, hey, episode 5, how's
it feel?
Again.
All right. So we'll see you next Wednesday for episode 6. How about it, huh?
Sounds great.
All right. We'll see you then, everybody. Until then, this is your friendly neighborhood soul man signing out along with
the Sax Man Dave Drower.
Captain Bird.